Welcome to our first day of Salute to Service, the 7th, and it goes to the 17th. 10 days of fun. When's the football game? The 15th. All right, and tomorrow night we have the military ball, which I'm very excited about. All right, so welcome, Salute to Service, Veteran Vision Project Reunion Luncheon for our Vietnam veterans. So I'm just so glad to see so many of you coming here and being with us today. It's a joy. So I'm Wanda Wright, in case you didn't know me, but I think most of you do, and I'm the director of the Office for Veteran and Military Academic Engagement at ASU. Our office is really pleased to be able to reconnect this group of veterans with each other and with our guest speaker, Devin Mitchell. We are very blessed to have him here today with us. So before we begin lunch, I'd like to share a little bit about our office. Our office was created with one clear mission: to advance the academic and professional success of military-affiliated students through innovative research, career-connected learning, and community partnerships, while strengthening understanding, knowledge, and relationships across military, civilian, and academic cultures. That's a lot, but it's a lot to try to do, but we try our best to manage that. And we just don't serve veterans, we engage with them. We build bridges between military life and academic life by creating opportunities for learning, collaboration, and community. To clarify, our three pillars are teaching, research, and community engagement. We take these pillars very seriously, and we continue to pursue excellence in all of them. We sponsor classes that explore the military and veteran experience. We support faculty who want to include veteran perspectives in their teaching and research, and host events that bring together students, faculty, and the community to talk about service, sacrifice, and citizenship. Most importantly, we work to ensure that veterans at ASU don't just attend college, they thrive here. Whether it's highlighting student-veteran achievements, connecting them with research or policy projects, or helping them share their stories, our goal is to make their experience meaningful and visible. At ASU, we believe veterans are not just beneficiaries of education, they're contributors, innovators, and leaders who make academic community stronger. So now, just a few administrative notes. Bathrooms are right over in that corner where it says restrooms. We hope you will take some time. We're going to do lunch just in a few minutes, but all of Devin's posters are up there. So if you get a moment to walk up there and take a look, that'd be great. We all have the opportunity to take photos out on the porch. Some of you already did, but after lunch, please go back out there and we'll take more photos. And they'll also be doing some short interviews. We would love to hear your voice about your veteran journey. We hope you enjoy the magazines that were provided, that we created of Devin's work of just Vietnam veterans. You have the little booklets. These are your keepsakes for today and of the time that you worked with Devin. Okay, well, you've been very patient with me, so let's take a break for lunch, and we'll resume in about 30 minutes to hear our wonderful guest speaker. Lunch is buffet, and it's right up there, so please enjoy. All right. Well, welcome back. How was lunch? Yay, let's thank our caterer if they're still here. They did a really great job. Okay, so it is now my great pleasure to introduce Devin Mitchell, a remarkable alumni, Arizona State University alumnus whose creative vision has profoundly shaped how we see and understand the veteran experience. While a student at ASU, Devin created the groundbreaking Veteran Vision Project, an artistic and deeply human photographic series that captures the complexity, diversity, and resilience of American veterans. Through his lens, Devin juxtaposes images of veterans in uniform with reflections of their civilian lives, revealing powerful stories of identity, service, and transition. I think mainly transition, right? Yeah. What begins as a simple class project in 2014 quickly grew into a viral phenomenon, earning national attention and sparking conversations across military and civilian communities alike. Devin's work has been recognized both for his artistry and its impact. His photographs have been featured in ASU's Salute to Service events for many years, exhibited on all 4 campuses, and displayed nationally. In recognition of his contributions, Devin received the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences Dean's Student Success Award in the spring of 2016, supported by the ASU President's Office and generous alumni. A 2017 graduate of Arizona State University with a Bachelor of Science in Sociology and a minor in Organizational Leadership, Devin blended his academic interest in sociology, public policy, and organizational psychology with his artistic passion. He describes himself as a journalistic illustrator, someone who uses creativity and research to foster dialogue and communal understanding. Devin has become an essential bridge between the military and civilian worlds. His artistry gives voice to those who have served, inviting us to see beyond the uniform and understand the personal journeys of our veterans, which is very important to our office. That community piece and the transition piece is very important. As we celebrate his ongoing work and the 32 ASU veterans featured in this project, we honor Devin's commitment to empathy, storytelling, and the transformative power of art. His images remind us that service continues long after the battlefield, and that healing and connection can emerge through creativity and shared humanity. And if you look at his works, you can really see that. And so we're going to show a very short video to introduce him and his work.
Photography is a networking tool. The camera is the most powerful device on earth. It's in our pockets. It's a currency. People use it almost every minute of their lives somewhere on this planet, if not every single second, if not every single millisecond. So to hold a professional device and actually know how to use it really gives you a unique ability to influence people. 1, 2, 3. The very first picture that I took for this project was August 8th, 2014. I knew how I wanted to apply my visions to an audience, and I think that's the most important thing that anyone could take away from wanting to have a career in photography and wanting to have a project that resonates. Find the message, find how you want it to apply, and if even only one person pays attention to what you did, you've accomplished making that connection. Every time I walk into someone's house and take their picture, it's one of the most powerful human connections every single time they'll ever make, over and over and over again. Some people are very excited to get the message out and to propagate what their thoughts are regarding their military experience, and other people are very private and they just want the memento of having their picture taken. Some people are activists, some people are just very sentimental. It really depends on the individual and what they're looking to accomplish. I'm just the interpreter. I try to not set up lights, I don't set up anything. There's really no hair and makeup unless they do it themselves before I show up. It's all about what they want to present. I'm just a fly on the wall. I'm gone with the wind before they know it, unless they need help, unless they need to continue being in contact with me. I'm also a human being that cares about these people that I'm seeing every single day. I could research and collect data and go around and ask veterans questions on my own, but if I'm not sharing that in some sort of media that was interesting to the population, then my work almost wouldn't be valid because I would be the only one looking at it. Once I eliminated all of my vices and addictions and distractions and focused on applying human connection to my everyday life, the influence that all of my efforts had after that point manifested into things greater than I could have ever thought. And that's, I hope, proof through this project. The most interesting thing about the veteran community is the camaraderie that the military servicemen and women have once they're no longer enlisted or commissioned. This project, I feel, is a platform to serve those people in continuing their conversation where there otherwise not be a space for them to do so. And I'm just very happy that I can be a part of that process, because I myself didn't serve, so serving people who did is the next best thing.
Isn't that powerful? Really powerful. So please give a warm welcome for Devin Mitchell. Devin.
All right. It's been a while since I've seen some of the faces here today, and you all don't look a day older than the last time I saw you. I mean, I'm telling you, it's insane. Like, you just popped right up on off the canvas, and, there was something on my face in that video. I don't know, no one told me. But that was a good. Thank you all for coming today. So, my name is Devin. I did prepare a little bit of a keynote for you, and I'm going to share a little bit about my experience since I recorded that interview and throughout my journey in this project. So, I stand before you today carrying two tools: camera and commitment. The camera is familiar. It's the companion that teaches us and me to look twice, to stay curious, to wait for the quiet truth between heartbeats. The commitment is the reason we're here: to see veterans as whole people and to help the world see them too. The Veteran Vision Project began it was an accident for the most part, with intent, but I never intended it to go viral. But I thought to myself, what if a portrait could do more than just capture a face? What if it created a bridge? Because behind every uniform, I started to understand a story shaped with the release of the shutter. Just like immediately I would see it on my camera, and there would be a lifetime of someone's story enclosed. Behind every service record is a person navigating life, either moments the rest of us only know as a headline or history. When I first started doing photography, veterans, I noticed something subtle in them. The room would shift throughout the photography session. A veteran steps in to the set or their bathroom, which is where I did all of them, or their bedroom, or just some sort of living space that they chose for themselves, but they would step into it, often carrying years of experience that really doesn't announce itself when I meet them, or even when they're getting their picture taken for the first few frames. It slowly just kind of starts to unfold as you go back and revisit the photograph 5, 10, 20 times after looking at it. I can still go over to these canvases and look at the picture and see something in the picture that I didn't see the first time, and I was there. I took it. That's how deeply nuanced the visuals are. There's just small doorways into lives too often that go unseen. I realized quickly that I wasn't just taking pictures, I was witnessing transformation. The moment when a veteran looks at their portrait and says quietly, "That's me," but the tone means, "That's me, I'm still here, still becoming, still learning, still transitioning, still growing." It is the most transformative privilege I've ever had. And I still wake up with this coffee table book on my nightstand thinking, how did the universe bestow this upon me? Not worthy of, the charge of such weight and depth, but who's to question it? The responsibility did fall to me, and it fell to each person more so were vulnerable enough to stand in front of the camera and be captured. I mean, there are some stories in that book, and a lot of courage within the pages of it. So really, I thank the universe for choosing every single subject that it chose to be a part of the project, because it would be nothing without them. So we call that visibility, and visibility does matter. That's what this project is all about. The kind that returns people to themselves, the kind that says you are more than your service, and your service is more than a stereotype. You are layered, you are resilient, complicated, you're deeply human. That's kind of the vibe that I would feel after leaving everyone's house. Every time I raise a camera, I'm reminded that storytelling is a shared act. Veterans offer their honesty, I offer my lens. The result is a narrative built together, one frame at a time. And those frames carry power, as I've mentioned already by now. They travel into classrooms, galleries, conversations between friends. They open eyes that didn't know they were half closed, circulate throughout Facebook. I get messages saying someone posted your work and they're not giving you credit. I'm like, I don't care. It's supposed to be out there and it's supposed to be getting shared. I hope my name's not attached to every single post, because that means the work's not going far enough. You know what I mean? If they know who took the photograph, I would just venture to imagine that, maybe I didn't do my job good enough. The stories are supposed to transcend where they came from, and people find their way back, back to the source. Today, I invite you to engage with the pictures after I'm done up here. I hope to see everyone standing next to them, so I can take a picture with you and remember it for myself, but not just as observers. Try and imagine yourself as participants in the image. I mean, those of us in here who served, it's all kind of like this shared memory, which was my favorite part of having been in the military, because since I filmed the interview, this whole project inspired me to enlist, and I joined the Army. Yeah, Army strong. Yeah, I joined the Army in 2018. I started to feel a little guilty. I'm not kidding. Doing this project, I would create a photograph and almost kind of feel like I was an outsider. And I wanted to be a part of this spirit of unity and camaraderie that only people who served in the military get to have access to. And I remember waking up in Los Angeles one morning saying, okay, I'm going to go down to the recruiter's office today and tell them I want to be in the Marines. And the Marine recruiter said, well, you're 31. We're not doing the age waiver, so you can get out of our office. I wish, though. I wish to this day that I could have been a part of your ranks, but it's all right. So I went to the Navy, and the Navy said, well, we don't need your sociology degree. Unfortunately, we're looking for biologists and engineers. Okay, Air Force office, OTS waitlist, 2 years. Come back in 24 months. And then I went to the Army, and the Army was like, well, we'll take all y'all. You want to leave next week? So I signed the paperwork and went to basic training and then officer candidate school, and eventually commissioned as an officer into a second lieutenant at Fort Benning, which is kind of hilarious. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Kind of funny, though, because as an artist who everyone understood me as when I joined, they're like, Devin, you the military? You the military? And I was like, yeah, me the military. Probably logistics or something, or HR. And in OCS, if you've never been through the OCS commissioning source at Fort Benning, it's based on the OML, which is an order of merit list. you get a class rank, very cadre dependent, God knows. And if you're at the top, you get your pick of what job you want to do as an officer, because it's not the same as enlisted. Enlisted, you kind of these days get to pick what you're going to do before you go in. But as an officer, you have to go and perform at OCS. Then you get, to decide what your top choices are based on your performance. Well, I didn't get to be at the top of the list or the middle of the list. So, sorry. So I got to go into the infantry. It was great. Yeah, combat arms. And I was shocked, but I was happy because I was like, cool. I'm going to go get in the dirt and, learn how to kick down doors and assault objectives and really become someone who's trained in field operations. And it's not an experience I would trade for anything. I really wouldn't trade that experience for anything in the world. And I'm really happy that my 31-year-old self took the opportunity right on the cutoff age for officers to go down and make use of my Arizona State University bachelor's degree. So the veterans here today, I thank you for trusting me with your stories. I thank you for letting me hold a moment of truth and reflect it back to you. I don't take that responsibility lightly at all. And to everyone supporting this project, thank you for leaning into a deeper kind of saying. The work doesn't end with the photos. It doesn't end when they're printed. It lives on in how we carry these stories and how we advocate and how we listen to them. The Veteran Vision Project, it's more than a gallery of portraits. It's actually a living conversation. I know it because I get to talk about this work all the time in my travels and through engaging people who've seen the work. One of my favorite things to do is go to exhibitions and not introduce myself really to anyone as a photographer, but just kind of be a part of the audience and hear how other people talk about the images. It's really quite fascinating. And it's a reminder to me that in every community, there are people whose courage has shaped our country and whose journeys continue long after the applause fades. The glory isn't over when you take off the uniform. For some, the calling for some isn't over when they take off the uniform. It's just the beginning of their true mission, which is using everything that we learned throughout our time in the military to continue making an impact on our brothers and sisters on the outside. My hope is that these images help us honor not just what veterans have done, but who they are becoming. Because identity, it doesn't freeze. It continues to manifest in the person that you are as a service member and as a veteran and as someone, in my opinion, for me, who's always there to look out for the person on their left and their right whenever they need it. It's kind of this shared bloodline, I guess, so to speak. That I know I'm repeating myself, but it's just how I feel is a great privilege for me to be a part of. So today I stand before you in like my signature journalist field outfit. This is how I show up for the sessions. Cap, usually a collarless t-shirt and sneakers. If you look up any of the TV like press engagements that I've ever done, I've always gone just like this because it's for me it's the most relatable version of myself. And I think one day if I were to ever do one of these pictures, I haven't decided what that would look like. This is probably exactly how I would represent the person that I am. But I've been asked, are you going to do a picture? Well, I'm still kind of like limbo. I'm on my way out of the reserves right now. I'm in the IRR, and we'll see if, that time is truly done. And when I get my final, discharge paperwork, I plan on creating an artistic vision of myself within the series of these photographs. But yeah, I'm not going to be too long-winded today. I think that I think veterans are the most qualified people in the United States in every domain and in every aspect. And I think that we are the most capable and compassionate and diverse and experienced professionals. And I stand by that. Whenever I talk to hiring managers and I'm working with people who hire veterans, when I'm looking for a job, I always have to demystify and defuse the stereotype about military service. Oh, you must be really good at following orders. You must be really good at, being detail oriented. And then the assumptions will go on and on, and I'll say yes, yes, yes to all that. But it's really not about following orders, yes. Being a robot, no. What veterans are through our military experience is we are nimble. We know how to pivot. We know how to march in one direction and then about face and march back in the other without a ton of fanfare. And that kind of flexibility, in my opinion, is an invaluable trait across the workforce. And if someone with a small bit of an ego like myself from time to time at work can just remember to revisit that, I have found that it has at least allowed me to stand out through my military experience, through my private civilian employment journey. So I have copies of the book with me today, and not many. I wasn't sure of how many folks there would be. And I understand that some people in here would like to buy them. I'm going to give a copy to anyone who wants one. And if I don't have enough, I would certainly invite you to come up to me and give me your address and phone number so I can hand deliver it to you later or send it to you in the mail. I want to thank Arizona State University for bringing me out here today to talk about the photographs. And I can't wait to get reacquainted with all of you guys. It's been a decade, and I can't wait to catch up. And that's all for me today. So I'm going to pass it back over to you, ma'am. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
One more hand. That was great. Thank you, Devin. We appreciate your story. And the reason why we brought him back is because I wanted everyone to understand how much of an impression that we all made through those photographs on him, for him to be able to decide, I'm going to join the military myself. We all did that, right? And then he took it and ran. And now he's back with us to explain what happened and then to be part of our community. And so it's just great. I just love it. All right, I want to thank all of you for coming today to attend our event. We appreciate your continued support for our office. We do still have interviews being done outside and photos, so if you want to take your photo, and please continue to commune with one another. I think we have this place till 2. So enjoy, help yourself, and meet with each other. Yes, Ed, I see you wanting to say something. Sure, come on up.
Hello, everybody. I'm Ed Logan, a dyed-in-the-wool Sun Devil. If it wasn't for ASU, I wouldn't have had a military career. I came out from New York City at 17 years old to go to what was then ASC. In the fall of '58, we became a university in November of '58. In those days, ROTC was mandatory at the U of A and ASU and what they call the land grant schools. And so I had to take ROTC for the first 2 years. And then you took a test, and then if you passed it, you took it for the next 2 years, and you graduated as a lieutenant. So I tell the story, well, I had, I had a New York, I'm 84 now, you gotta stay with me. Anyway, a draft card from New York, okay? So I made it in 4 years, and I come into the Air Force directly, not to Lackland Air Force Base. I went directly to Washington, D.C. to become an OSI special agent, which I had carried a badge for 19 years. But I tell the people, well, you know, my mom didn't raise any dummies. If I stay in school, I can be a second lieutenant, and I don't have to go to Vietnam, and I don't have to join the Army, all right? 20 years later, I got out of the service, and I still went to Vietnam. So, but I didn't get drafted, okay? So my wife and I are Sun Devils. We are members of the Golden Circle, which is if you have 50 years in the alumni, you get being a Golden Circle, and that's been like 60 years from now, right? So I've done a lot with my detachment there, or the Air Force RTC detachment. So I'll just close with my first year in the service as a second lieutenant, 62 to 63. We had we had the Cuban Missile Crisis, and then the next year the assassination of JFK. And in both those things, we went into DEFCON 1. We thought we'd have war with Russia. Now, if you see my picture up here, there's one thing I want you to look at. I got an award from the state of New York, Governor Pataki, and you'll see it. It says, "I love New York." And how that works is, and Joe, you can get this, by the way. If you've got certain medals, meritorious service medals and above, you will get equal medals from the state of New York, having gone into the service from the state of New York. And what's ironic is, if you're following the news, what's going on in New York right now, there's the governor might be replaced by another governor. I'll let it go at that. And my home city is in a turmoil, and I was born and raised in New York City. So one last thing, I spent 6.5 years in the Far East. My wife is from Glendale. We went, let me start with, I was born April 20th, 1941. Okay, that's 8 months before Pearl Harbor. So ironically, my first overseas assignment was Okinawa, the last battle of World War II. And we spent 30 months there. My wife and I, we had our first child, a daughter who's today 60 years old and is a neonatal ICU nurse from the U of A Medical School. And the karma to that is that all the people that died on Okinawa, the last battle of World War II, was why we had to drop the atomic bombs on Japan, or else we're going to lose 1 million men. So she has saved maybe thousands of babies now that sort of make up in a strange way for those deaths. She hates when I tell this story, but it's true. And if it wasn't for ASU, I wouldn't be standing here today. So I thought, you know, I'd give my alma mater a shout out. Right?
Thanks, everybody, for joining us today. It was awesome. And please mingle, and we still have photos and things.